I break down the weightlifting world into 5 parts plus 1. Let me just do this in a general sense, and then I'll spread it out for age groups, and then I'll spread it out for other reasons. Push is anytime you separate from the environment. Pushes are wonderful because they're great for general hypertrophy. It makes you look good. Pulls are when you bring the environment to me. So you and I are wrestling. I grab you here, pull. We really, in America anyway, overemphasize the push and the pull.
What were some of your go-to movements and patterns that you trusted earlier in your training? And how have those evolved over time for somebody training in their 40s and beyond?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm 68. I worked out this morning. I lift 3 days a week. I walk 10 to 15,000 steps every day. So I'll be at a good place to explain this to you, okay? Ideally, every one of your listeners, when they were 13, 14, 15 years old, they had an excellent physical education course where they learned the power lifts, the Olympic lifts, all the kettlebell moves, all the calisthenic moves, the rules of every sport and every game, even cricket, which still throws me off. No offense. Every time I watch a cricket match while I'm in Twickenham in London, I always have to lean over to the guy watching it with me and say, now, okay, I'm lost here. What the hell just happened there? But that's not the way it goes. So let's just pick up. The first thing is that there are more lifts than you can even imagine. What I do, let me just do this in a general sense, and then I'll spread it out for age groups, and then I'll spread it out for other reasons. I break down the weightlifting world, what I do for a living, into 5 parts plus 1, okay? Push is anytime you separate from the environment. So if you and I are wrestling, I will push you, and that's a push exercise. In the weight room, I maybe bench press and I push the barbell off my chest. When I do a push-up or a press-up, I'm pushing the earth away from me, right? Pushes are wonderful because they're great for general hypertrophy. It makes you look good. I don't know of a sport that you don't need some level. Pulls are when you bring the environment to me. So you and I are wrestling. I grab you here, pull. Pull up, chin up, row, all those movements. We really, in America anyway, overemphasize the push and the pull. We do way too much on both of those. Then there's an exercise called the hinge, a movement called the hinge. It is the standing long jump. It is, well, really it's jumping, but then that morphs into the deadlift, the Olympic snatch, the kettlebell swing, the Olympic clean, the kettlebell clean family. Then there's the squat family. To an outsider, they might look the same, but it's the big hip movement with the big knee movement. I don't think you really need to pursue heavy squats to be happy and healthy. So those are the first 4, the most recognizable. Then the 5th is what I call loaded carries. That's when you pick up a weight, or you put a bag on your back, or you drag a sled, or you push a car. These are loaded gait, GAIT patterns. You put weight on. This morning, I have a little tiara. It's a 5-pound head weight that I do a whole bunch of my marching with in the morning, because the head weight forces me to stay vertical. Because if I look down while I'm doing it, of course, it's only 5 pounds, but the forces are so high because of levers. So wearing my little 5-pound tiara, doing my marches is a loaded carry. Then there's sometimes I put a lot of weight in each hand and I carry it. Sometimes I just use one hand. Then there's the 6th movement, and that is everything else, okay? Basically, with the 6th movement, I'd like to break it down into horizontal and vertical. So horizontal would be anything where you're crawling. A Turkish get-up would be a 6th movement. If I said to you, lay down on your belly, stand back up, lay on your back, stand back up, get on your left side, get back up, get on your right side, get back up. Those would be the 6th movement. Rope climbing, monkey bars, which I don't think we should call monkey bars. Humans brachiate too. Let's take that back. Monkey bars, all your climbers understand this intuitively. Your climbing population is probably as healthy as any population we have, because of this vertical crawling they do. They vertically crawl, they brachiate, they monkey bar, they use their bodies, their whole body to get up a wall or a hill. So those are how I break out the movements. Then from there, then you can go as simple as you want. And I usually start, if you've never trained before, I start with planks, isometric moves. So, there's one I love a lot called the push-up position plank. You get in the up push-up position, and I just hold you there. Now, I might reach and try to pick your hand up off the ground to teach you tension. I might, I put a band around one of your legs and tug on you to teach you. A great one for an advanced athlete, not a beginner. You pick up both feet and you make them just stay tense. For the pole, I like exercises that teach, especially North Americans. If you're not watching, folks, I'm putting my thumbs in my armpits and trying to squeeze my elbows together against a load of some kind. That could be barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells, suspension trainers, or just me putting my hands on your elbows. For the hinge, I teach what's called the glute bridge. It's the top of a hip thrust. And I have people stay down there as long as they can. And again, move the hands around. For the squat, we just do this goblet squat. And then for the loaded carry, we do farmer walks. The mistake a lot of people do when they first lift weights is they don't yet understand the core principle that the body is one piece. So they think that if I do a bench press or military, it's an upper body exercise. But if I stick a fork in your calf, it's going to affect that bench press. I've never seen one bench press 400 with a fork in their calf. I've never seen it happen. Then that gets into classic weightlifting. But you'll notice the first step up from planking is the classics. So you could do push-ups or bench press. You could do military press. You could do pull-ups, chin-ups, or rows. You can do hip thrusts or, deadlifts. You can do front squats, back squats, overhead squats. You could do all kinds of, drag sleds. And then comes what I think is the real key for most people I work with. One of the things I'm constantly trying to teach people to do is that the body is one piece. So we know from the research, we know that this side of the brain, works with the left, the right side of the brain works with the left side of the brain works with the right. My job is to bring my right shoulder to my left hip and then my left shoulder to my right hip. And at the same time, I can also coach the opposite of it called anti-rotation. So the next thing I teach, so that would be one hand pressing, okay, or bench pressing, one arm rows. And then from there, it does change a little bit. For asymmetrical work with sprinting, very often I'll have people run up hills, but I'll have them hold two sticks in their hand, maybe, like a 3-foot, 4-foot dowel, hold it in the middle. So if they have any asymmetries, they'll hit themselves in the face. Okay. And even the dumb people figured that out pretty quickly, not to hit themselves in the face when they're running uphill. For squats, it's weird to say this, but crawling is very squatty in my world. When I see, so very often I'll see people who really struggle to just do a traditional bear crawl, but then you realize when they squat, they're wonky. I don't want to say asymmetrical, but it doesn't look right, And then, of course, for asymmetrical,
the squat is not really a good squat. Like they are not really going down all the way. They're not really using all their lower body.
Yeah, or they start to turn or twist, and one leg does this, and then the other. And then for loaded carries, the two best things I think every listener should do. The first is suitcase carry. That is a heavy one-handed walk in a suitcase position, or its cousin, the overhead, the waiter walk. Once you get those down, then I add speed to things. And now I'm just going to go through this quickly because it might not apply to your audience, but that's the overhead, like the push jerks from the Olympic lifts, the kettlebell swing, some other variations, and of course the Olympic lifts, the snatch and clean and jerk. Okay, so there is my whole vision of how I coach people.